Happy Halloween, everyone. All in Arrowhead here. Week 8 gave us one of the most unpredictable slates of football yet. A mix of statement wins, gut punch losses, and games that left fan bases either celebrating or soul-searching. Miami rebounded in a big way, with Tua Tagovailoa carving up Atlanta's defense like a jack-o'-lantern, and reminding everyone that this offense can still light up the scoreboard when it's in sync. Derrick Henry returned to his bruising form for Baltimore, powering the Ravens past the Bears with a vintage performance that showed he still got plenty left in the tank. The Texans stunned the 49ers behind a balanced offensive attack, while the Giants' turnover woes once again kept them from capitalizing on early momentum against the Eagles. Justin Herbert and the Chargers delivered one of their cleanest games of the year, slicing through Minnesota's defense with precision, and the Broncos continued to look like dark horse contenders with another convincing win over Dallas. Across the league, defenses are tightening up, quarterbacks are finding mid-season rhythm, and the playoff picture is slowly taking shape, but there's still a long way to go. My picks from last week kept things steady overall, but it's clear no team can afford to get comfortable halfway through this wild regular season. With the Browns, Jets, Eagles, and Buccaneers taking a much-needed rest, Week 9 officially marks the midpoint of the year. And from here on out, every win, every mistake, and every clutch play could decide who's still in the hunt come January. Let's get into the games! The Baltimore Ravens enter Week 9 following a 30-16 victory over the Chicago Bears, snapping a 4-game losing streak and regaining some confidence on both sides of the ball. Quarterback Tyler Huntley, stepping in for the injured Lamar Jackson, completed 17 of 22 passes for 186 yards and a touchdown, while also rushing for 53 yards, showing mobility and poise under pressure. Derrick Henry dominated on the ground with 2 rushing touchdowns, moving past 13,000 career rushing yards and into 5th place all-time, while the Ravens' offensive line did a solid job opening lanes and protecting Huntley. Defensively, Baltimore forced turnovers and controlled the line of scrimmage, with Roquan Smith recording 12 tackles and cornerback Nate Wiggins snagging an interception in the 4th quarter, while the unit limited big plays and helped set up favorable field position. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins snapped a 3-game skid with a convincing 34-10 win over the Atlanta Falcons. Tua Tagovailoa was sharp, throwing for 205 yards and 4 touchdowns, and distributing the ball effectively to Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, and Devon Achane, who added 67 rushing yards and a receiving touchdown. Miami's defense smothered the Falcons' run game, sacked Kirk Cousins multiple times, and forced key punts that kept Atlanta off balance, allowing the Dolphins to take control early and maintain consistent pressure throughout the game. Both teams enter Week 9 with momentum, but Baltimore's balanced offensive attack, veteran rushing presence, and opportunistic defense give them the edge over Miami. I'm picking the Ravens to win and improve to 3-5, while the Dolphins fall to 2-7. The San Francisco 49ers enter Week 9 following a disappointing 26-15 loss to the Houston Texans, where Mac Jones, stepping in for the injured Brock Purdy, completed just over 60% of his passes for 186 yards and an interception, while Christian McCaffrey was limited to under 70 total yards as the Texans' front 7 consistently disrupted the run game, and the 49ers receivers struggled to create separation, forcing checkdowns and stalled drives. Defensively, San Francisco allowed over 400 total yards, giving up multiple big plays through the air and struggling to get off the field on 3rd downs. Meanwhile, the New York Giants fell 38-20 to the Philadelphia Eagles, with rookie running back Cam Skattebo scoring an 18-yard touchdown reception before suffering a unit lost. Quarterback Jackson Dart threw for 193 yards and a touchdown, but was sacked 5 times, and the offense managed just 68 rushing yards, while defensively they gave up 276 rushing yards and 8.4 yards per carry, with Saquon Barkley rushing for 150 yards and a touchdown. The absence of linebacker Micah McFadden due to injury was felt deeply, and coaching decisions, including a failed challenge, drew criticism. Both teams enter this matchup searching for answers and consistency, but the 49ers' talent on both sides of the ball and ability to rebound from adversity give them the edge. I'm picking San Francisco to win and improve to 6-3, while the Giants drop to 2-7. The Chargers come into this Week 9 matchup after a dominant 37-10 victory over the Vikings, where Justin Herbert threw for 227 yards and 3 touchdowns, connecting with Oronde Gadsden II, Ladd McConkey, and rookie Trey Harris, while running back Kamani Vidal rushed for 117 yards and his first career touchdown, giving Los Angeles a balanced and efficient offensive attack. Their offensive line protected Herbert well, allowing minimal pressure and enabling multiple extended drives, while the defense held Minnesota to just 164 total yards and forced multiple turnovers, including an interception by rookie safety R.J. Mickens, though the team did suffer key injuries to Derwin James, Tony Jefferson, Mekhi Becton, and Tarheeb Still, which could test their depth moving forward. The Titans, meanwhile, are coming off a 38-14 loss to the Colts, with Cam Ward completing 23 of 38 passes for 196 yards and a touchdown, and Tyjae Spears adding 45 rushing yards and a touchdown. But Tennessee's defense allowed over 400 total yards and struggled to contain Indianapolis's offense, particularly in the second half, highlighting ongoing issues on both sides of the ball and the team's need to improve tackling and third down efficiency. Heading into this matchup, the Chargers' balanced offensive firepower and stout defensive front give them the edge over the Titans, who must address defensive lapses and find consistency to stay competitive. I'm picking the Chargers to win and improve to 6-3, while the Titans drop further to 1-8. The Minnesota Vikings come into Week 9 after a 37-10 loss to the Chargers, where Carson Wentz completed 15 of 27 passes for 144 yards, throwing 1 touchdown and 1 interception, while the offense struggled to sustain drives and managed just 164 total yards. The offensive line was frequently overwhelmed, allowing multiple sacks, and Minnesota's running game was largely contained, limiting options and putting additional pressure on Wentz. Defensively, the Vikings had difficulty containing the Chargers' playmakers, giving up explosive plays and failing to generate turnovers or consistent pressure on Justin Herbert. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions are coming off a Week 8 bye following a 24-9 win over the Buccaneers, with running back Jahmyr Gibbs rushing for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 78-yard score, while also adding 82 receiving yards, and quarterback Jared Goff throwing for 241 yards and a touchdown, spreading the ball effectively to his playmakers. Detroit's defense held Tampa Bay to just 251 total yards, forcing a turnover and limiting big plays, allowing the Lions to control the game's tempo. Both teams enter this matchup with sharply contrasting performances, and the Lions' balanced offensive attack combined with a disciplined defensive showing give them the edge over a Vikings team that will need to improve quarterback protection, generate more consistent offense, and tighten up in the secondary. I'm picking the Lions to win and improve to 6-2, while the Vikings drop to 3-5. The Atlanta Falcons enter Week 9 following a 34-10 loss to the Miami Dolphins, where quarterback Kirk Cousins completed 21 of 31 passes for 173 yards but was unable to generate a touchdown. And the running game struggled as Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier combined for just 74 yards on 17 carries. Tight end Kyle Pitts and wide receiver Drake London were kept in check by Miami's secondary, while the Falcons' defense struggled to contain Tua Tagovailoa, allowing 4 touchdown passes and a total of 338 yards, with Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, and rookie Ollie Gordon all reaching the end zone. Meanwhile, the New England Patriots cruised to a 32-13 victory over the Cleveland Browns, with quarterback Drake May throwing 3 touchdown passes, while the rushing attack contributed 177 yards, keeping the offense balanced and difficult to defend. Defensively, the Patriots forced turnovers with interceptions by Robert Spillane and Jalen Hawkins, limited Cleveland to 211 total yards, and maintained pressure on the quarterback while holding the line against the run. Entering Week 9, the Patriots' combination of an efficient passing game, a balanced rushing attack, and a playmaking defense gives them a clear edge over a Falcons squad still struggling to generate consistent offense and cover their receivers. And I'm picking New England to win and improve to 7-2, while Atlanta falls to 3-5. The Colts head into Week 9 riding high after a dominant 38-14 thrashing of the Titans, where Jonathan Taylor exploded for 153 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, while quarterback Daniel Jones completed 19 of 26 passes for 272 yards and 3 scores, giving Indianapolis a showing of offensive depth and tempo control. Their line opened gaping holes running the ball, and the defense held Tennessee to under 200 total yards while forcing multiple turnovers and 2 sacks. Meanwhile, the Steelers are coming off a 35-25 home loss to the Packers that exposed several cracks in their form. Veteran Aaron Rodgers completed 24 of 36 passes for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns facing his former team, but even his steady play couldn't compensate for a defense that blew the second half by allowing the Packers to score 28 unanswered points. Chris Boswell's 4 field goals kept Pittsburgh within reach early, yet the run defense allowed 122 yards and the pass rush failed to keep consistent heat, letting Green Bay control possession with 4 straight scoring drives. With Indianapolis showcasing balance and depth and Pittsburgh still flushing through inconsistency and coverage breakdowns, I'm picking the Colts to win and improve to 8-1, while the Steelers drop to 4-4. The Denver Broncos enter Week 9 after a commanding 44-24 victory over the Dallas Cowboys, where quarterback Bo Nix threw for 280 yards and 4 touchdowns, connecting twice with Troy Franklin and once each with rookie wide receiver Pat Bryant and rookie running back R.J. Harvey, who also contributed 3 rushing scores. The Broncos racked up 419 total yards, controlling the game despite early turnovers and injuries to key players like Pat Surtain II. Defensively, they pressured Dak Prescott throughout, forcing multiple turnovers and limiting Dallas's offensive rhythm. The Texans, meanwhile, earned a 26-15 win over the San Francisco 49ers, with C.J. Stroud completing 30 of 39 passes for 318 yards and 2 touchdowns to Jaden Higgins and Xavier Hutchinson. Despite missing top receiver Nico Collins, Houston's offense remained efficient, with rookie Woody Marks and veteran Nick Chubb combining for over 50 rushing yards each. Heading into this matchup, the Broncos' high-powered offense and stout defense give them the edge over Houston, who will need to sustain their strong play to stay competitive. I'm picking the Broncos to win and improve to 7-2, while the Texans fall to 3-5. The Bears enter Week 9 after a 30-16 loss to the Ravens, where their offense struggled to sustain drives, and Caleb Williams completed 25 of 38 passes for 285 yards with 1 interception, while DeAndre Swift contributed 45 rushing yards and a touchdown, and Rome Odunze led the receiving corps with 114 yards. Chicago's offensive line struggled at times to protect Williams, forcing hurried throws and limiting the effectiveness of the run game, and the passing attack was inconsistent beyond Odunze, with other receivers unable to consistently create separation. On defense, the Bears were unable to generate consistent pressure, allowing Tyler Huntley to operate efficiently and Derrick Henry to rush for 2 touchdowns, while the secondary gave up several crucial completions that extended drives and set up scoring opportunities. The Bengals, meanwhile, fell 39-38 to the Jets in a heartbreaking loss, with Jamar Chase catching 12 passes for 91 yards and the running game combining for over 180 yards. Yet Cincinnati's defense struggled to contain New York in the fourth quarter, surrendering multiple go-ahead scores and failing to make key stops when it mattered most. Both teams will need to address their defensive lapses and find consistency on offense to compete effectively, but the Bears' ability to generate playmaking opportunities with Swift and Odunze gives them an edge in this matchup. I'm picking the Bears to win and improve to 5-3, while the Bengals drop to 3-6. The Panthers enter Week 9 desperate to bounce back after a humbling 40-9 loss to the Bills, where both sides of the ball were thoroughly outmatched. Andy Dalton completed 17 of 28 passes for 162 yards and an interception, but Carolina's offense failed to sustain drives or convert key third downs. The run game offered little relief as Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle combined for just 85 yards, with Buffalo's defensive front consistently collapsing the pocket and forcing quick throws. Even the Panthers' usually reliable defense couldn't hold up, surrendering 216 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns to James Cook while missing several open field tackles and losing the battle for time of possession. Meanwhile, the Packers continued their strong start with a 35-25 win over the Steelers, led by Jordan Love, who delivered his best performance of the season, throwing for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns on 29 of 37 passing. Tucker Kraft emerged as a major weapon with 143 yards and 2 scores, while Josh Jacobs added balance with 89 rushing yards and a touchdown, helping Green Bay control tempo throughout the game. Defensively, Rashawn Gary and Quay Walker were disruptive forces, keeping Pittsburgh's run game in check and tightening coverage after halftime. With Green Bay's offense finding its rhythm and the defense complementing it well, the Packers look poised to keep rolling, and I'm picking them to win this one and improve to 6-1-1, while the Panthers slide to 4-5. The New Orleans Saints enter Week 9 following a 23-3 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where quarterback Spencer Rattler completed 15 of 21 passes for 136 yards but was intercepted twice, including a pick six by linebacker Anthony Nelson. Rookie Tyler Shuck replaced Rattler in the second half, throwing for 128 yards and an interception. The Saints' offense struggled to find rhythm, managing just a single field goal, while their defense allowed 152 passing yards and 3 field goals of over 50 yards by Chase McLaughlin. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Rams are coming off a dominant 35-7 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 7, where quarterback Matthew Stafford threw 5 touchdown passes, including 3 to wide receiver Davante Adams. The Rams' offense was efficient, with Stafford completing 28 of 35 passes for 307 yards, while the defense limited the Jaguars to just 211 total yards, with rookie Travis Hunter accounting for 101 of those yards and scoring Jacksonville's only touchdown. Both teams enter Week 9 with contrasting performances in their previous games, and the Rams' balanced offensive attack and strong defensive showing give them the edge over the Saints, who will need to improve their offensive efficiency and reduce turnovers to stay competitive. I'm picking the Rams to win and improve to 6-2, while the Saints drop to 1-8. The Jaguars head into this Week 9 showdown coming off a brutal 35-7 loss in London to the Rams, a game where Matthew Stafford ripped the Jags for 5 touchdown passes and Davante Adams caught 3 of them, while Jacksonville self-destructed with 13 penalties for 119 yards, surrendered 7 sacks, and repeatedly squandered red zone chances, despite Trevor Lawrence throwing for nearly 300 yards and rookie Travis Hunter breaking out with a 100-yard receiving game and a touchdown. It was a reminder that Jacksonville's talent is real, but execution and discipline can evaporate quickly. The Raiders, meanwhile, arrive reeling from a 31-0 shutout at Kansas City, in which Las Vegas managed only 95 total yards, converted 0 of 7 third down tries, and watched Geno Smith struggle under constant pressure, finishing with just under 70 passing yards, while the Chiefs rolled for over 430 yards and Patrick Mahomes accounted for multiple touchdowns as Rashee Rice made an immediate impact returning from suspension. Both clubs get a well-timed bye to regroup, with Jacksonville needing to clean up penalties and pass protection, and Las Vegas facing questions about identity, play calling, and offensive line play. The Jaguars have a deeper roster and more upside when they play clean, and I'm banking on them to bounce back. I'm picking Jacksonville to win, moving them to 5-3, while the Raiders fall to 2-6. The Chiefs come into this marquee Week 9 matchup riding momentum after a commanding 28-7 victory over the Commanders, where Patrick Mahomes overcame a shaky first half that included 2 interceptions to deliver a composed and efficient second half, finishing with over 280 passing yards and 3 total touchdowns. Kansas City's offensive line provided steady protection after the break, allowing Mahomes to find his rhythm with Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce on key third downs, while receiver Xavier Worthy continued to emerge as a big play threat with another red zone score. The Chiefs' defense was equally impressive, shutting down Washington's rushing attack and forcing multiple 3-and-outs, including a crucial fourth-quarter interception that sealed the win. On the other side, the Bills dismantled the Panthers 40-9 in one of their most complete performances of the year, as James Cook exploded for 216 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, showing patience and vision behind a dominant offensive line that consistently opened running lanes. Josh Allen added 3 total scores of his own, displaying his trademark dual-threat ability and command of the offense, while the Bills' defense suffocated Carolina's backfield and secondary receivers, forcing 3 turnovers and limiting the Panthers to just 230 total yards. This matchup pits 2 AFC powerhouses against one another at a pivotal point in the season, and while Buffalo's offense looked unstoppable last week, Kansas City's balance on both sides of the ball and Mahomes' knack for rising to the occasion in big games gives him the slight edge. I'm picking the Chiefs to win and improve to 6-3, while the Bills fall to 5-3. The Seahawks come into Week 9 fresh off their bye week, hoping to carry momentum from their 27-19 win over the Texans back in Week 7, a game that highlighted their offensive versatility and defensive toughness. Sam Darnold managed the offense efficiently, throwing for 213 yards, a touchdown, and an interception while showing improved timing with his receivers. Jackson Smith and Jigba emerged as the focal point of the passing attack, posting 8 receptions for 123 yards and a score, while Zach Charbonnet powered through for 2 rushing touchdowns, giving Seattle much-needed balance in the red zone. The offensive line held strong for most of the contest, and the defense, led by Boye Mafe and Devin Witherspoon, forced timely stops and 3 sacks to preserve the win. However, 4 turnovers kept the Texans within striking distance, an issue the Seahawks will need to clean up if they want to sustain success. The Commanders, on the other hand, limp into this matchup after a 28-7 loss to the Chiefs that exposed lingering problems on both sides of the ball. Marcus Mariota threw 2 costly interceptions, and the offense failed to generate any rhythm, with the lone score coming off a short field following a turnover. The defense was unable to contain Kansas City's explosive playmakers, surrendering long completions and struggling to apply consistent pressure. With Seattle coming off extra rest and looking sharper overall in recent weeks, the Seahawks have the clear advantage heading into this one. I'm picking the Seahawks to win and improve to 6-2, while the Commanders drop to 3-6. The Arizona Cardinals enter Week 9 following a narrow 27-23 loss to the Green Bay Packers in Week 7, where quarterback Jacoby Brissett threw for 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, while tight end Trey McBride caught 10 passes for 74 yards and 2 scores. Wide receiver Zay Jones added 79 receiving yards, helping move the chains consistently, but the offense stalled in key moments, including a late 4th down attempt that could have swung the game. Arizona's defense allowed over 330 total yards, struggling to contain both the run and pass on critical drives. The Dallas Cowboys, meanwhile, fell 44-24 to the Denver Broncos, with Dak Prescott completing 19 of 31 passes for 188 yards and 2 interceptions, before being replaced late by Joe Milton, who threw a garbage-time touchdown. Dallas's running game was limited, and the defense allowed 179 rushing yards, while failing to consistently pressure quarterback Bo Nix, who threw 4 touchdowns. Both teams enter Week 9 looking to rebound, and Arizona's ability to move the ball effectively through the air, combined with Dallas's defensive lapses, gives the Cardinals a slight edge. I'm picking the Cowboys to win and improve to 4-1, while the Cardinals drop to 2-6.